Okay, we'll start this evening's meeting. Today is January 6, 2026. It's a regular Board of Selectmen meeting. I'm Bob Carlson, the first Selectman. We also have Selectman John Gassion, Selectman Nicole Porter, and Admin Finance Officer Suzanne Thero. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so as we usually do, we'll start with any public comment on anything that's not on the agenda. As you know, that what we normally let you do, if it's an agenda item, you want to say something, we let you say it while we're on that part of the meeting. But right now, if there's something not on the agenda you'd like to say, now's your chance. Brian?
When you're done, push that button. Okay. Does it have a automatic 2-minute on it? All right, I'm kind of concerned. I was wondering if there's anything being done for help or protect our farmers from the PA 490 issue that come out from Hartford. And collaborating with that is the HB 8002 bill that came out. I'm pretty concerned about it because more I hear about it, more I read about it. I'm pretty concerned because I'm scared that it may be a gamble. It might hurt our farms, definitely with the PA 490 and the HB 8002, which is this housing that they're pushing through, a bill that we never had a chance to weigh in on. None of the towns did. And I thought I think we should be able to weigh in on it, especially where there was like 130 some towns that couldn't comply with the 830G. And we're supposed to be a government of, by, and for the people. And for Hartford just to push that bill on to all the towns, I think the towns ought to get together. And I think our town should be one of them to push back and say, hey, wait a minute. We're not going to do any of that or take on any of it until we have a say in it. So anyways, that's my concern. And I hope you take that up as possibly an agenda sometime.
All right, you want me to answer you?
Sure.
Okay, so I've been working with Senator Heather Summers and Rep. Greg Howard on PA 490, as well as some local farmers. One of the farmers, Kim Gravier, who owns the 100-acre farm up on Northwest Corner Road.
Okay.
She set up a website called, I think it's CT PA 490. I was just on.
I did join that.
Okay, great. I was just emailing with JC from Tatro from Trillium today. We've talked to the Farmers Bureau and DOAG. I've talked to assessors. What the plan is, we're hoping is, and we had a legislative meeting today at the Council of Governments, that we want the legislators to go back into session, which is going to start shortly, and kind of hit the brakes on PA 490. Give us a year or two to restudy it, because we know that the land values are going up crazy percentages. It's right now, that's on the top of my list of those kind of things. HB 802 is not on the top of my list. It will be, but it's not right now because we have until January 2028 to complete a housing plan. So it's a ways off. We'll have plenty of time to discuss HB 802. We'll have it on an agenda at our meetings. We'll have people come and speak about it, for and against. We try to be fair. But right now, PA 490 is more concerning because it's happening now, where HB 802 isn't. So because it's happening now, we have to get on it right away. We want the legislators to know during this short session to push back and come up with some sort of a moratorium on PA 490 to give the state more time to investigate how it came about. I know they sent out surveys. People complain how the surveys worked, but there's a lot of push on this. I'm also meeting with the gubernatorial candidate Ryan Fazio on later this month. I can't remember the date right now, but we're going to be speaking about this also. He comes from the other side of the state, but he's running for governor, so he's visiting this side. And we have a meeting set up so I can talk to him about both of those, but especially PA 490. So it's not something that's going by the wayside. It's something that we're very involved in. It's just something that I can't do much at a meeting like this about, but behind the scenes, we can work on it and try to get it fixed.
Okay.
HBO2 is different because I think that one, there'll be more voices on that. We can do that on agendas in future meetings.
Okay. Because well, like you say, the HB 8002, I was very concerned about that.
I think a lot of people
They're talking
online,
about, they're talking about eminent domain and everything else. And that's pretty scary.
there's a lot of concern, but right now it's more important. PA 490 is more important because it's happening right now.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Judy?
Hi, Judy Main. I don't know if you can tell us about this, but I know we had the tax sale today. Can you give us an update on how that went?
Sure. So we had 6 parcel properties. One got paid off 2 days ago, small, I think it was a mobile home. And then one of the homes on Stillman got paid off today at the tax sale before it started. When I say paid off, just taxes were paid. There was 4 properties. One on Winter Jug Hill went for $220,000. There was a trailer, a mobile home trailer that went, I think, for 12. There was pretty much a rundown, used to be summer cottage, went for 10. It's unlivable. And then a home that has a lot of issues with it went for 9,000, but it's you own the home, but not the land underneath it. The town probably realized about $45,000 in back taxes, but more importantly, these houses will now go on the tax rolls. And if you know how tax sales work, after the lawyer's fees, we got about $45,000 in this lawyer's fees. And then the rest of the money goes to the courts, and they determine how that money should be spent in case there's other lien holders like banks, because mortgages, if there's still mortgages out there, they have to decide who gets the money and what position they're in. But overall, these are back on the tax rolls. It was good for the town. It's the second one we've had. The attorney we have now, his name is Adam Cohen. Yes. Great job. He was so clear and precise on how we're supposed to run. I learned a lot myself just being here. He did a great job, and I'm glad we have him as a town attorney. So you're welcome. Any other questions or comments? All righty. I'm glad I was prepared for those 2 questions. Minutes.
So I just turned mine on. Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the December 16th, 2025 Town of North Stonington Board of Selectmen meeting minutes held at 6:30 p.m. Via Zoom and here at the North Stonington Education Center as written.
I'll second.
So we have a motion. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, 3-0.
Can we not all talk?
Okay, we're good? Okay, selectmen comments or any comments by either selectmen to, anything about this evening, anything else? Nothing right now. Okay, just say thank you. I said it last night at the tri-board. Thank you to you, John, for getting these microphones, doing the research, getting them quickly, getting them hooked up. I think they're going to be a great asset. And finally, after months of people not hearing what we're saying, I can't wait till tomorrow to listen to the meeting online and see if I can understand everybody. So great. First selectman comment. Not much. So it's been busy since the start of the year. There's a lot going on. As we said, the tax sale was today. We have Obviously, a lot coming up in the next 2 months with the library public hearing. We'll talk about later this evening. Board of Finance meetings. Our audit is going to be presented to the Board of Finance on January 21st. Good news is the audit came out really well. I think, Suzanne, any comment on the audit or the auditors themselves?
There was no corrective action from the audit, so it went really well. These are new auditors and they were excellent to work with.
And we have them on a 3-year contract?
3-year contract.
Perfect. Great, thank you. Other than that, next on the agenda, sports bubble grant resolution. So we talked about this at our last meeting. Since then, what's happened is Senator Summers has reached out to me. She's meeting with the head of CAF grants on the 9th of January, and she asked me if there's any way I could get a support letter signed by the 5 CEOs of the 5 core towns that are working on this and the 5 rec commissioners. So myself and Tom Fabian signed it, sent it to Preston where they signed it, sent it to Griswold. I got to find out where it is now. It's supposed to go from Griswold to Legend to Stonington back to me. And then if I get it to Heather Summers by the 9th, she's meeting with Mark Pulgazzi, who's high up the ladder when it comes to CIF. And she wants to present this to CIF as a regional support by 5 towns. We did not pass. We tabled last time the resolution that's in your packet again today. I think you saw some emails after that. And I think I blame myself for that not being signed or not passed that evening because I didn't explain how much work had gone into it and how the questions we were asking that evening are good questions, but we're kind of the cart before the horse. If we don't get this grant, none of these questions matter because they're all questions if we get the grant. And if we get the grant, we always have time between getting it and accepting it. And even after accept it, we don't have to use it. So I guess all I was asking you is to approve the resolution so at least you can start the process. Everything else is in. Once I get the support letter from for Heather Summers, everything else has been done. Emily Lewis did a wonderful job writing the grant, really looking at it as something that would benefit the entire town, everyone from toddlers to rec to school to AAU to senior citizens, and the fact that 5 towns would be involved. If this looks like it's not going to be a good project for the town, right now it does. It looks like a great possibility, but things don't always work out. But if it's not a good project for the town, we'll back off. There's nothing saying, there's no financial on our side, no financial we have to put into it. It's all put in by the developers and this grant if we get it. So I guess I'm asking you again, and you can ask me questions, if you're willing to relook at the resolution this evening and possibly agreeing to sign it so I can get it back to the CIF people so the grant will be complete. And then if we are lucky enough to get it, we'll have a very extensive meeting on all the questions we asked the last time on who will be doing what, how much money is involved, what is the town's exposure. But right now it's so far away that none of that will matter if we don't get the grant. And the grant we're asking for is a big grant. It's $25 million. It's a $47 million project. So it's they've never given out a grant at that size, but we're hoping being a 5-town regional grant that they figure it's really only $5 million per town per se. And that's where we are. I'll take any questions that anyone would like to ask.
The 25 million, we don't have to spend that ourselves and then get reimbursed by the grant, do we?
No, if that was the case, the developers have to spend 47,000, then they would get reimbursed.
Okay.
The town would get reimbursed, but the money would be there.
Okay. Yeah, and I think last time I thought that we had more time. And I did see the email that they extended the time limit for us to submit.
Up to this evening.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I feel more comfortable knowing that this is really just a resolution to apply for the grant.
Mhm.
If we were to get the grant, there is nothing saying that we have to take it, right? And we just, if down the line we're awarded it and talks with the developer, we're just not comfortable with where it's going, we can just walk away from the grant.
Right, I'd say it's very similar to the steep grant we received on the irrigation project. So we thought we wanted it, we applied for it, we received it, we got the letter saying we were awarded it. We never got around to doing the irrigation because we found there was a better way to do it, so we didn't take it. And we deobligated the money, put it back in the undesignated fund. This is very similar to that.
All right. Just really looking forward to a lot of conversation about if we were to get the grant, it's from North Stonington, not the 5 towns,
But
correct?
the grant is for North Stonington.
Okay.
However, we're just using the other 4 towns as for support.
Yep. I just think that is a huge savings for the developer to fund pretty much almost more than half of it, right?
Mhm.
We should definitely have a big seat at the table. And I'm looking forward to the conversations later on down the line of what we can in writing be promised.
Mhm.
Because if we were to get it, if it's not for us, they'd be funding they'd be trying to figure out how to fund 47 million instead of, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I am fine.
Okay. John, questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
I know you did go to a meeting and you did hear some of the things that Nicole was speaking about, but I will make sure that there's more open meetings, people at our Board of Selectmen meeting to explain it in more detail. If we get to the point where I say that we were awarded the grant, we will not accept it unless we feel totally comfortable that this is what we want to do.
Did I hear last time that they are refunding us the grant application money?
Yeah, so they're refunding the application, whatever time Emily put into it. And also, if we get the grant, they'll refund us for any labor to
That's
administer
right.
the
We
grant.
talked about that last time with just the resources to monitor the funds.
Mhm.
Okay.
They just can't do the grant on their own. It has to come through a municipality.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. No other questions? Then I'll entertain a motion to approve this and then I'll have you sign it.
Make a motion to approve the resolution for the Community Investment Fund 2030 grant for $25 million.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? By the selectmen? No?
I don't have any.
Anybody want to make a comment before we vote? No? Okay, Carl. You just wanted to try the new microphone, didn't you?
1, 2, Carl Johnston, 8B Ruderman Road. Just to double with Nicole, as all the other grants that the town picks up, most of the time we have to be responsible or set aside money that they reimburse us for. So just be careful or make sure that we're not coming up with 25 million, setting aside for something, and then waiting for the money to come for a grant. That would be
Do you know how I can get 25 million?
No, I have no idea where you're going to find it, but I'm just, if you sign something and then they request it from you because you're the municipality signing for it, just make sure that all them ducks are.
Yeah, we won't accept it
Quacking.
unless we know that the developers have that money and they're willing to turn it over to us. But yeah,
Okay, thank you.
thanks, Carl. Okay, any other questions? Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's approved. Nicole? And I'll have Internet notarize this tomorrow. Then we'll get it in. Thank you, John. All right, so I will promise you both there'll be total transparency on this, as there usually is on anything that we do. But I'll make sure that our T's are crossed, our I's are dotted, and we will not put this town in any kind of jeopardy financially to do this project. It's always nice to have these wonderful ideas and wonderful projects, but they don't always come to fruition. So thank you. Number 8, Wheel Library motion discussion. So in your packet, probably wondering why you're seeing minutes from 2024. So 2024, November of 2024, I can't believe it was this long ago. We actually approved a motion to move forward to send the library building project to the Board of Finance. It was on November 12th, 2024. If you look at number 8, you'll see the actual motion. It was approved 2-1 with Selectman Mastriani opposing, myself and Nicole approved. And as you both have been at the Board of Finance meetings lately, you've heard some of the discussion. I think one of this discussion is we motioned to approve up to $1 million for renovation. So when we built the school, we said we wanted to have a $24 million project. It wasn't $24 million plus interest. And a lot of times we talk about when something's going to cost us, we tell what the cost is, but we don't usually get into how much the interest means. And we had a discussion that if we do a 10-year loan, the interest on this loan is roughly $319,000, and a 20-year loan was $667,000. Probably wouldn't go for a 20-year loan, probably a 10. But for clarity and for transparency, I think it would be smart for us to change our motion to read something like this. We approve a motion up to $1 million plus associated fees and interest. That way, everyone knows, the taxpayer knows that if the Board of Finance decides to take a loan for $1 million, it's going to include fees, not the closing fees, because those would be wiped out by the bank, but attorney fees and interest payments. So I just think it's more clear, it's more transparent, and then no one can say, well, you didn't tell us it was $1.3 million, you said it was $1 million. So I'd love to have discussion on that. Why don't we do a motion first, and then we can have discussion on what we think about changing the motion.
What do you want the motion? The motion for $1 million plus
I would say, so
associated costs?
it said our motion was motion to approve up to $1 million for renovation of the Wheel Library. I'd say motion to approve up to $1 million plus associated fees and interest.
Okay. I will make a motion to grant the Wheeler Library request for $1 million plus associated fees and interest.
I'll second for discussion.
Okay, second. Okay, let's have discussion.
Do we want to try and put, I mean, I guess we will never have until we go for the loan, the exact amount of interest, so that, because it's a little bit ominous having that plus any associated fees and interest. I mean, that could.
So the associated fees are $2,500 for attorney fees. We know that's locked in. So it's $2,500 flat fee attorney fees, at least through Dime Bank and the lending attorney that if we use Dime Bank, we'd be going through. So I have that number. The bank has said they would waive any additional closing costs and fees. The interest that they gave me then, which was a month or so, maybe a month and a half ago, the interest was $319,000 on approximately $319,000 on a 10-year loan. So we won't know until we actually go for the loan what the interest is, because the interest is slowly dropping right now. So it could be less than that, probably would be less than that. Plus, I don't know what the Board of Finance is going to do. So the Board of Finance may say that they want to use a portion of their undesignated fund. They want to take out a small loan. So I know that in the Board of Finance's policy, when it comes to the undesignated fund, they can't use that money and give it to a 501c3 or a nonprofit. What they can do is they can take out a loan and use that fund to drop the loan down, so they can pay the loan off early. So if they wanted to go for $1 million but pay $500,000 of it off, that does fall under what they could do with their undesignated fund. Because anytime you're lowering taxes or taking funds,
Buying back debt.
exactly, if you buy back that, exactly, they can do that. But what they can't do is just hand someone $500,000, like a nonprofit.
Okay. So we know that for sure now.
We do, but we just don't know. So the Board of Finance is going to, the next thing on our agenda is setting a date for a public hearing. The Board of Finance is going to be at the public hearing with the library. And I'm glad there's library representation here. The way I picture this meeting is I already held the gym at the elementary school. We're going to set that up as a hybrid meeting with microphones, and you can project on the wall. So if you have a presentation you want to project, we can. I imagine the library will do their best job of selling what this project is, what it means to the town, and what you normally do. The second piece of it is the Board of Finance. Now, right now I have difference of opinion with some Board of Finance members on how they should should come to that meeting. When I left the Board of Finance meeting, the last I heard was they might come with multiple finance options. I disagree with that. I think they could come with maybe 3 options that they tell the residents that these are what we looked at, but I think they should and stand behind one option. They're the Board of Finance. They're the ones that need to vet the finance options, not residents who are coming to a meeting. Maybe they don't even come to meetings, but they either like the library or they don't want to have the library get the money, whatever reason they're at this meeting. And I don't think when you say to the Board of Finance, you're the Board of Finance, how should we do this? And the Board of Finance says back to the people in the audience, I don't know, how do you think we should do it? I don't think that should be the way it's done. So that's my opinion, and I'll mention it again at the Board of Finance meeting tomorrow. I know we have the Board of Finance meeting, a member here this evening, but I think I wouldn't mind say, hey, we looked at these 3 options and we realize this is the best option and we're going to stand behind this one. And of course, this is only an option if the town approves. The town has to approve through referendum this question. So my hope is that we go to a public hearing, then we go a few weeks later, early March, we go to a town meeting, and then we go to a referendum. And then it's a standalone question. The referendum, it's not in the budget. It's a standalone question. So that's my intent. I hope that we can discuss that after how we want to settle that after the public hearing. But the reason I wanted to change the motion this evening is I don't know what the Board of Finance is going to do. And if we tie their hands by saying not to exceed $1 million, then that might limit what they can do as far as finance options. That's all.
By us changing the motion, does it have to go back to the Board of Finance before we call for a public hearing? Because they voted for $1 million.
No, we can call for a public hearing and cancel it.
Okay.
But I'm going to be at the Board of Finance meeting tomorrow evening and let them know we changed our option.
Right.
I mean, if for them to go back now and say that, oh, you changed your option, now we don't agree with it and we're going to pull back and stop it.
Yeah.
Well, to me, that's being not transparent. We're trying to be as transparent as possible with the taxpayer, correct? So,
I agree.
okay.
Yeah. Just point of order. Do we have to have, if we have a hearing, do we have to have a town meeting in between the actual referendum?
Because we can only call a referendum through a town meeting.
Oh, okay.
So a town meeting might, and
the
the town meeting also
okay.
will have other things on it. It's not just this.
Okay. Okay.
So it'll be a town meeting probably sometime in early March, and it might have 3 or 4 questions on it that have nothing to do with the library.
Okay. So the referendum could be as early as when? I mean, I just know from listening, the library is anxious to get.
If we scheduled the town meeting for early March, we could have it before the end of March, probably 14 days roughly after
Okay.
the town meeting.
Okay.
And then by doing it this way and doing the referendum before, it would make it in this year's budget.
So it would be in the budget, but it'd be under the long-term
Long-term.
debt, right? So it wouldn't be, that's where the line item would be, but we can make sure that everyone knows it's in the budget prior to the budget.
It's not going to be wrapped up into the budget referendum.
No, it'll be a separate referendum, but
Correct.
they'll see that long-term debt. So
Yeah.
when they see the schools and they see the fire station,
Yep.
they'll see the
The
library
library.
line item. So they can say, all right, we owe, I mean, at that point,
Yeah.
whatever we owe, they'll see it, but the taxpayer also see it on that line item when they're looking through the budget as well.
Yeah.
And it's not going to show $1 million more. So let's say they decide to do a 10-year note at $100,000 a year for principal and
Right.
whatever it is, $16,000 to $20,000 of interest per year, roughly, whatever that happens to be. Well, that's the number that will increase the long-term debt. So if it's 1,350,000 now, it'd be 1,460 something thousand.
Okay. And we have, I know we just did a big spend down for the undesignated. Do we have more going in? Are we going to be looking at? Because I mean, I am most definitely in favor of using the undesignated to spend down the debt after we go. I mean, it's just.
So the audit is being presented on the 21st. There is a fairly healthy give back as
Yeah.
it has been over the last few years, mostly because of additional revenue that we didn't budget for, but also the way we don't spend. We're very fiscal responsible when it comes to our budget, so we don't overspend our budget unless it's something we can't control, like snow removal or something like that.
Yeah.
So I would just say this, I'll let you on the 21st get did you get an audit sent to you?
Yeah.
Okay. it's in there. And you'll see what the give back is. It's pretty healthy. It'll give us, it's bringing the underinvestment fund back up
Back
again.
up.
The town's
I
in a
mean, it's a
healthy
good-
position.
Place to be, definitely, but it would be nice to use at least a portion of that to pay off and decrease that interest that we're going to be.
So I think the
asking
Board of
for.
Finance could say, if this all gets approved and it goes through, they could say, prior to the next budget, why don't we just take $500,000 and knock this
And spend,
down?
yeah. Okay.
And listening to them, Board of Finance meetings, you said at that point, there's no early payoff penalty
There is
Oh, that's
not.
right.
if they
Yeah.
were to do
Yep.
anything like that. So if they were to take that money out of them designated, there'd be no penalty to us for
Correct.
paying it off early.
Okay. Any other
right.
discussion? Anybody want to make a comment on that before we vote? Brian? Hmm.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I can hear
Now I'm
you.
all right. I thought I heard you say something about you might have other things on your,
On a town meeting?
referendum,
On a town meeting? Not the referendum.
not the
No, no,
referendum.
Just a
The
town
only
meeting.
question on the
No,
referendum be
so
for the library, right?
the only question on the referendum would be a
Just
library
like,
question.
because I think the school, when they did the school, that was just a school.
This would just be the library.
Okay.
But there's other things that we can vote on in a town meeting. I would prefer something like this with $1 million involved that we go to a referendum. But there's other things on the town meeting we can vote right there.
I see.
It's
okay.
nothing to do with the library.
All right, I'm just making clear, because I know sometimes we have a meeting and there's like a bunch of things on there and it just fogs the whole thing up.
Yeah, I expect this town meeting to maybe have 3 or 4 things on it, tops, including the library,
But the referendum be just for the library.
just for the library.
Okay, and hopefully that's going to be not with the budget.
I'm hoping that's not going to be, I'm not planning it that way. The Board of Selectmen are the ones who call the town meetings and the referendums, so it's up to us. I'm not planning. I know there's a time frame that the library wants to operate within, and I think if we wait till after the budget, now we're looking at after July 1st before they could start work. And I think they need the approval before then.
Okay. I think you said something about early March. I'm not sure what the library
We'll
wants.
probably do something by end of March,
Yeah, you'd be voting on it before the end of March. you say?
before the end of March. That's the plan.
Okay. So I'm not sure exactly where the library is on with theirs, but
I'm not sure, but I know it's sometime in March or April timeframe.
yeah, I'm not sure. They might be
But
ready.
the president's here if you want to ask her.
Oh, no, maybe she wants to speak.
The question is, if we would end up doing a referendum before the end of March, does that fit within your timeframe? There you go, Brian. The answer was yes. For those online that didn't hear Kate, the answer is yes. Thank you. Okay, we have not voted on that motion yet. We want to vote on it now? Okay, then all those in favor of the motion made by Selectman Gassion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that's exactly the way I'm going to write it. The way you said it, John, I will listen to the recording to make sure I listen to it, and I'll bring that to the Board of Finance tomorrow evening. Okay, and I'll make sure it's captured in the minutes of this meeting. All right, thank you. Okay, next on that is another part of this on the library. So we kind of already talked about this. The 2 dates that would be best is February 2nd or February 9th. February 9th made more sense to me. There's a lot going on between now and February 2nd. We want to get this room set up. I talked to John about, I want this to be a hybrid meeting, so people that aren't there can also hear. I also would like to do a every door direct mail, so we send that out to everyone in town, so we can get a good representation. I expect to set up about 250 chairs. I'll have some guys from the highway department go help Mr. Jim and whoever else is at the elementary school to set this up. John already talked about layout where we can, if you were at, well, we were at all the veterans ceremony, so we know how they projected on that wall. We might do the same thing that way and have the chairs set up in a kind of a half circle around. We have a couple of tables with the library and a couple of members of the library, a couple of members of the Board of Finance up front. The Board of Selectmen, the other Board of Finance members will sit in the audience, and we'll have a podium for those who want to speak and a podium for those who want to present.
Just to be clear, it's in the gym,
The
not
gym.
the library, right?
The gym.
Okay.
So not that not that room you go in the front
Yeah.
door.
Okay.
So it's in the elementary school, first of all, not the high school.
Oh, so that's where I got confused. I'm thinking we never had the veterans. Okay, thank you. I missed that
Right,
part.
so yeah, it used to be the multipurpose room, but now it's strictly a gym.
Okay.
They built a cafeteria, so I'd like to have that on February 9th.
Yeah, that's what I
And
thought we
I-
talked about this before because I
And
put
I'd
a
like it
hold
to
in my
be
calendar.
6:30. I think at this time of year, 7 o'clock and it's cold, nobody wants to come back out. And 6 o'clock is very close to dinner time. So 6:30 makes sense, but if you have a better suggestion, I'll be glad to listen to it.
Does the library have any recommendation of what you think is a better time?
6:30 on February 9th sounds good to you? Perfect. And I'll make sure we discuss what you need as far as like audiovisual stuff, and so everybody's all set to go. Okay? Great, thank you. Any other discussion on this? Judy?
We don't have to vote on that, do we? The date?
Yeah, we can vote on the date if you want, just to make it official.
So I was actually at the school yesterday and talked to Mr. Salino. Just for planning purposes, we did find an 8-foot projector screen that he said we can use, and there is no gym class from 2:15 on, so there's time for you guys to set up during the day without paying overtime to the janitor.
That's all good news. So, Judy, I'm going to rely on John and you to get that figured out, and then we'll send probably Chris Appleton. I think I'll send him to help. Only because his mom's in the room, I figured I'd say that. So, we'll have some of the guys in the highway department help Mr. Jim out, because it's a thankless job to set up 200 chairs and then break them down. So, all right.
So
let's
if we're thinking the 9th, if the 9th is going to be the hearing, what are we thinking for the town meeting then?
I'd say sometime early March, because we had the hearing on the 9th. It gives us a chance to have a Board of Selectmen meeting and a Board of Finance meeting later in February,
Okay.
and then we can discuss it more, and I think
Do we
early
normally
March.
do Mondays?
Yes.
Okay, because
Usually-
I'm away Tuesday, the 3rd through the 6th.
Yeah, so typically, Board of public hearings and town meetings are always held on Mondays because we don't have a lot of meetings on Mondays. We have mostly Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday meetings.
So that's good.
And we will put this in make sure it's advertised, and we'll put the sandwich boards out around town and do an every door direct mail. Okay. So do I hear a motion to schedule this for February 9th?
Make a motion to schedule a public hearing for the Wheeler Public Library on February 9th at 6:30 PM.
I'll second.
Great. Any further discussion?
None.
Hearing none, all those will say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that's going to be February 9th at 6:30. Perfect. In your packet, you have a 5-year capital plan, but what I'm really concerned about is this coming year for our budget. So what we have to do is approve, which we've already done this once, but there's been a small change, so I want to reapprove it before I give it to the Board of Finance tomorrow evening. And this is just for the 2026, 2027. I gave you'll see there's 2 copies. One copy is before we took the capital out of this with the appropriation we just received for $672,000 from the Board of Finance. So the first page is what it looked like before we had that capital. And you'll see at the bottom, it said the capital this year would have been $789,091. On the second page, you'll see taking that money out of there, the new capital is $437,625.
Nice.
So if I do my math right, that's about $350,000 roughly that we've knocked off capital. That makes sense. The only change I did make, so we know that we've got a company called Star Computers we're working with, and they've done a wonderful job with us, getting us in really good position as far as updating our hardware. We have found that there's some of our hardware has not been updated in quite a while, especially in the town clerk's office, where it's so imperative that she stays up and running. So if we can look at the capital for, this will be the one that has everything we've paid off already. Look at the capital. If you want to look at line, it says, it's halfway down. It says North Stonington Education Center improvements. So that's basically this building, this room. And we started putting away, we put $20,000 away 2 years ago and 10,000 last year. So we have $30,000, as you can see in the far left-hand column, $30,000 sitting in the bank to update this building if need be. This is not utilities. It's updating this room, updating whatever we have to update in this building.
The chairs,
Huh?
please,
chair.
the chairs.
The chairs. So, so we have $30,000. We also know we have a steep grant that we've been awarded to also update this room with a full dais and double doors and things that we talked about we'd like to do. With that said, there was $10,000 in capital for this year. I took that $10,000 out because I'm looking at the next 4 years and it's $10,000 each year. But I've got $30,000 plus a steep grant.
Mhm.
So if we really need more money on the computer line, why do I want this just to sit here with that we might use and we might not? So I took the $10,000 out of
Moved it.
the
Okay,
that and I moved it to computers.
okay.
Computers were 20,000, now it's 30,000. So the bottom line didn't change, but the computer line changed from 20 to 30. Suzanne, any comment on that?
And the biggest change for the computers is Windows 10 is no longer going to be supported. So therefore, we have to upgrade to Windows 11, and the hardware that we currently have does not support Windows 11. In the interim, on the support stopped in October of 2025. We did a support license for about a year just to get us through. And now we have to replace all those computers, and there's 10 of them. So that was a big chunk. That's why we increased the capital there. And also we have one more server to tie into the new infrastructure for the network. It's a new virtual server. That's another like $14,000 with everything.
Is the 30 going to cover it?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's really the major jump with the capital on the computers.
And again, the capital didn't go up, we just moved from one line to another. Any questions? Do we hear a motion to accept?
Are we moving any of the servers that we had to cloud-based?
I'm not sure. Do you know the answer to that question, Suzanne?
You know, I probably shouldn't because I'm not technical, but I mean, everything, we are cloud-based. I don't know exactly what we're cloud-based on our network. The main thing is that we have all our cyber protection in, and that was a big part of the last changes in the infrastructure. But yeah, we're completely backed up. It's a completely new platform that we're working off of.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, so the motion would be that we would accept the 2026-2027 capital plan as submitted.
Make a motion to accept the 2026, 2027 capital plan as written.
Amended for the total
Amended
of
for the total of
$437.
$437,625.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Great. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Oh, hang on one
Oh,
second.
go ahead.
The floor machine, we had a discussion about that.
Yeah, that's in the capital. So,
Okay.
so what we did is.
Just one, right?
Right, so that's in there. We took other things they had, like the plow tractor, the lawnmower, the gator cart, the lawnmower, and the maintenance van. We pushed that to next year for
Okay.
discussion next year.
Okay.
It's not locked into next year's budget, but we just discuss it next year. But we knew they needed the floor machine now, so we put it in this year's budget.
And everything for the fire company is all just paying off.
Well, the things in capital now for fire company ambulance are things that they normally put in, like turnout gear, rescue
Yep.
gear, and so on. We're still paying the tanker. We have 2 more years paying the tanker. And it'll be the second year of doing the rescue truck, which is it'll be year 2 of 10.
Okay. And we haven't heard any of their budget presentations yet, but
On capital, we have. They sent in,
Capital,
they sent in
so
all their
we're
capital.
solid.
The solid, there's no changes we made
Okay.
in capital.
Okay,
They will be coming to us.
No-
I think it's in February with the
no
regular.
surprises coming out of the
Not on
woodwork.
capital.
Okay. Okay, I'm
But,
good.
they'll be presenting operating budgets, I think, in February. Okay, so we have a motion. No other further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, passes 3-0.
That's the lowest capital
And it's been in a while.
In a while. It's nice.
Okay. Social services discussion. So we need to get moving on this.
Is she already retired?
No, the end of March.
March.
So if she retired, we'd be in the fix. No, she's got the end of March. I did meet in Stonington with Leanne Theodore, who's the head of the social services in Stonington. And Stonington does social services in a big way. I mean, they have a separate building like we do, but they also have social services, senior center, family and youth services, youth and family services, and recreation all under one roof. There's probably about 12 to 15 people, I believe, that work that are associated with this department, with Leanne being the director. So we had a long discussion in your packet of some of the things that she gave me. Leanne also said she'd be willing to sit on an interview committee when we start interviewing candidates to become our director. Again, this is just in discussion stages. I assume that we won't put our rec underneath social services, nor do we have a youth and family services. We've talked about doing senior center, agent from the elderly, and then adding a social services department to that. So non-seniors be able to have somewhere to go. My dream for this would be similar to, we know that there's something that happens with an animal in our town. What does everybody say, right? Call Kasha. So if something happens in town right now, that's not with seniors, say people that are in their middle age and something happens to them, but they need help, they don't know where to go. Sometimes they would go to the Giving Closet, maybe they go to the senior center, maybe they go to Pawcatuck Neighborhood, but there's no one place to go where everyone can say, like to say, call Kasha, go to see this person, he or she. I'd like to have it that way someday soon, where everybody knows where to go if there's an issue, and then that person will direct them how to best fill their needs, wherever that may be. So I'd like to get more involved in this now with the two of you to say, how do we want this to look? What do we want? What do we think right now? Do we want to have a director who will handle senior center duties as well as we have to have by law agent of the elderly. And Teresa does both of those. She gets a stipend for both. But we don't have that social services piece. And I think it's something we need. It was brought up in last year's budget. That's something we need. And I think that we as selectmen is now the time that with Teresa retiring anyway, now's the time to address this. So I'd love to have a discussion.
Teresa's keeping agent of the elderly?
No.
Oh, she's not.
No, it's going to be a total transition.
Okay. Okay. Is your vision just a director and a department of one, or is the vision to expand it further?
I think it'd be start with a director with a department of one, and then we'll go from there to see if it's
How busy the
too much, and we might have to add an assistant, maybe a part-time position. Well, talking to Leanne, she thought what I mentioned to what I'd like to see happen, she thinks that if we had the right person. Now, she also said to me, when you do your interviews, and again, she'd be part of the interview team if we'd like her to be. I don't know, that team could be the four of us and her. I'm not sure what the interview team would look like, but if that's how it is, she said, do not be afraid to hire someone. Don't hire someone because of age, or not hire someone because of age. You might, she said, if it was my suggestion, get someone that really knows what they're doing, whether they're 35 or 75. You want to get that set up correctly the first time. So if you get someone in there that sets it up correctly, and then that person happens to be leaving a couple of years, the new person comes in and the stage is set. If you bring in someone that doesn't know how to set it up and it doesn't work out and they leave, now you got to start all over again. So that's the only thing she said to me was, Don't eliminate a candidate because you feel maybe he's a little bit older. I'm not saying that's who you should hire, but if you find someone that's 35 that knows exactly how to set this up to the way you want it, that would be great. But if you see someone that's 75 and they're equally as talented, don't be afraid to go that route. So I think that's just gave us a bigger pool of possible candidates. And I think it's so important that we do this right. Someone that has this in their background. I'd love to have someone that's worked in a department somewhere at some other town. And remember when we got Antoinette, she was the assistant town clerk in Groton. But she was the assistant, but she knew how to be a town clerk, and she brought all that knowledge to us at North Stonington. If we can find someone that's doing this somewhere else and willing to be now the head person, I don't know. We'd have to talk about what kind of feel is, and maybe we can do some sort of a salary survey, what this job would pay.
Yeah, one of the questions that I had was, what do we think the delta is going to be between where Teresa is, where we would want to go, and what that delta would be?
So Teresa's two stipends, I think they add up to around 50,000, maybe just around that, just under. And obviously we're adding this whole other piece, right? This piece is,
And we're making it a director, correct?
all right. So I think we should do a survey to find out where it should be,
Yeah.
but I'll get some, we'll talk to some other directors from some other towns. I'm thinking probably somewhere between 65 and 85 in that range. I'm not sure exactly. I don't think we'd have to go. We don't know how in the beginning, how busy they're going to be and how much service we're going to render.
I'm sure there'll be a ramp up, right? As people hear about it and know about it and word catches on. I do think that it will end up getting really busy, so that this person will have to really evaluate what kind of resources and help they need in the future.
And Teresa does so much. She does so much that you don't even know about.
Yeah.
So it's going to be important to get the right person.
Yeah, I was here at the farmer's market one day and met a woman who I want to say teaches the yoga. And she was, so we've had.
That was Ann Nelson.
Thank you. She had mentioned, why am I drawing a blank on Umflett's first name?
Carol Humflett.
Thank you. Yes. Is she interested?
She has not, we haven't posted the position. I would say just in general discussion, possibly. We do have 2 applications or resumes, even though I haven't posted the position.
People have
heard.
Oh, it's good to hear that.
But yeah, I think that if it was out there, she may be someone interested.
Okay.
But are they looking
She just,
just to be the senior director?
No, I think.
Or are they looking for the whole?
I think it's
no,
gonna-
and I think, I think the conversation that I was having with Anne was really probably just the senior center.
That would be if Ann was interested, you mean?
No. Anne was recommending Umflett, but I think I don't think she's aware that we're having a larger discussion about director of social services versus
Right,
just the
because are the
senior center.
applications we're getting now, is that because they heard that she's retired and they're just looking to take over the senior center?
Yeah.
Or are they interested in the actual
The whole thing.
human services
Yeah, so-
director part?
Right, and
know.
we haven't done a job description yet.
Right.
Something we'll work on, myself and Susanna work on to, and we'll run it by you before we post it to see if you're in line with what we've come up with. But we want to make sure that we don't want anyone to take the job thinking, oh, I didn't know I had to do that also. So we want to make sure that all the cards are laid on the table.
Right, because looking at like this actual PowerPoint or thing she gave us, their flow chart there. I mean, you
Yeah.
have the human services director, then you break down obviously through all the boards and PT but then you got senior center services now. Is that saying that this human service director is in charge of them and is running them? Or are they supervising a director for seniors, social services, family and youth services and recreation? So there's technically 5 people in there? Or is that one person doing the whole thing?
When I look at the org chart, they're all reporting up to
Up
that
to that.
full-time
So there's
human
like
services
4
director.
different spots
Yeah,
reporting to one
But this is
person.
Stonington. Like, I
Yeah.
think right now, I think we really need to, you're
I'm
right,
like
Bob, put some
constant-
thought into a job description of what a director director of social services in North Stonington is, what do they do, including senior services? And just start off with that first to see where.
I agree. We don't want to become too big. We'd rather do
Yeah.
it right than become too big too
I
fast.
mean, then we're literally adding and creating an entire department.
That's what I'm saying. In this scenario, it looks like you're trying to create a department. So we're looking for one person to direct. but
Just
the
to
main-
start off.
To start, and the concentration is going to be on senior
Yeah,
services.
yeah,
and then
she wasn't
branch from there.
advocating we do this. She just wanted to show
Yeah.
me what they do. So I'm looking at the red and the blue basically and saying,
Okay.
let's start with that and forget the left-hand side,
Yeah.
just do the right-hand
Okay.
side. And then see how that works.
Yeah.
But it's still going to be an upgrade for the town to have this extra piece that we haven't had in the past. I mean, if someone needs help, there's help to be found in North Stonington, but sometimes you have to
You
search
have
it
to
out.
really search.
We want to have that a lot easier to
And I
happen.
think, as budget season starts and we take a look at all of the usual money that we give to social service departments in the other towns that are helping North Stonington residents, I think we need to give some thought to that. I know that they depend on that. But if we're going to be bringing some of it internal now.
I agree to a point.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying not give. I just think that we have to take a look at the delta of where we're gonna come up with the additional money for this position.
Mhm.
And then it has to be a really energetic self-starter, self-motivated person to create the entire department themselves and then do an evaluation of what resources do they really need to keep up with.
I would like them, as we in the past as selectmen have always vetted out the nonprofits that we donate to. I'd like to have this person be the one that vets that out, comes to the board of selectmen
Yeah,
and
I
says,
love that.
and they say, this is why I need this group more so than this group,
Yep.
and maybe two like groups, which one she
Yep.
has experience or he has experience with. So yeah, I think that would be a presentation to us that we can then take to the Board of Finance.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, because they're going to be able to tell us what assets they use better than us sitting here just getting
Exactly.
requests. They're going to say, hey,
I
I
mean,
go
we get
to
a-
this more than the other one.
Yeah, I mean, you remember from just going through budget season last year, this year, you're up here and
Yeah.
not in the audience, but we get a report from them. We get numbers and data of how many North Stonington residents are helped, but who better than the person making those recommendations from our own residents? And I just think in today's world right now, I think there is definitely a need for social service help, and something that they can do within their own town.
So there's nothing to vote on this. I just wanted to start the
Yeah,
discussion.
that was my next question is what do you need
I
right now?
I just wanted to
move
start
forward?
the discussion. We carry this on right
Yeah.
up until maybe February when we decide to put together the interview committee and actually post the job. So I think I'll
Yeah.
work on with Suzanne.
Do we want to wait that long? Is it the end of March?
She's
It would
the,
be
she's the end of
nice-
March.
It would be nice to have some type of maybe even an overlap.
Transition, Yeah.
Teresa's willing to do that, even if it went
if it
past
went
March.
past.
There's two sides to that. Teresa does an awful lot and Teresa's very,
It will be a very different job description.
right.
But as long as she is willing to be a help, I do think that it might help to have even a 2-week transition.
Mhm.
There's another piece to it too, is Teresa does the cooking and the meals, which is a really big part for the seniors for socialization. So is this new person also going to
Good.
cook?
Yeah.
Are you going to get a cook? And she does the cleaning, so there's that piece too. So
Yeah.
those are the things you have to consider in this position.
And maybe the new person will not, instead of saying the 3 lunches, just because we do 3 lunches a month, doesn't mean that's what we have to do. We could do 2 lunches a month and then something else. Basically, the seniors just want to get together.
Yeah.
So that's a piece that a new person might want to do it a different way.
We could do, yeah, I mean, I don't want to, you could do a bus from the North Stonington Senior Center to the Pawcatuck Neighborhood Center for the lunches there, rather than, I just think it's a lot. Like if I were applying for a director of social services, cooking lunch 3 times a month is not something that I would think would be in my
So
job
I think that's
description.
why it could be different. And I think not every town does that.
Yeah.
I mean, Teresa's wonderful and she does that and she does it on her own, basically.
Yeah,
But I think that a new person might want to be do it differently.
Yeah,
So I think there should be some crossover training, but not to the point where you say, you have to do it the way I did it.
yeah. So what do we need to do though? Because I'm getting the sense that the three of us are in favor of moving forward
Yeah,
with the posting of the creation of a job description and the posting and an interview panel. I mean, what, do we
I
need
think,
to
I
wait
mean,
any
I think that
longer?
would be, to me, the next step would be for them to work on a job description
Yeah.
and let's go. Because I think, like you just said, taking a straw poll, we're all in favor that we do need this. Obviously, we're going to need something because
Yeah.
Teresa's retiring. Along with Daryl, who retired, who was our vet liaison. So we need to look at that as well, whether it's in that job description or we have another person take that
Interesting. Yeah.
that's on.
I would
But
say
think-
that Daryl didn't do a lot with that, though.
Right.
But what are the possibilities
But what
of
are
what
the
somebody
possibilities
could?
with them in it for, we do
So-
have a lot of vets in town that, and I,
By state statute, we're supposed to have an agent from the elderly and a veterans,
right.
whatever that.
So I think, to me, the next logical step would be working on a job description and then getting ready
And
to.
then bring it to you
for
to
them.
see if we all agree on the job.
Absolutely.
Right.
Do
Okay.
we have to vote to move forward with it?
I would think maybe we'd want to, when we get further along to vote for that, we
Okay,
want to add
so-
this position. And then it's a matter of going to the Board of Finance saying, we want to budget this position.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to get a lot of pushback on this because it seems like the town as a whole seems to say, yes, this is something we
Yeah,
need.
definitely. Okay.
I mean, we're not going to not get any pushback, I'm sure. Somebody will say something, but for the most part, I think it's a move in the right direction. Okay, so there's no voting this evening. I just want to have that conversation so we can work on sometime in the next few weeks, start working on a description. Perfect. Hopefully we can do some interviews in February, get somebody on board by early March, have that 2-week transition, and they can kick off early April, 1st of April.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I still think that's a tight timeline.
Mm,
People have to give notice.
It's not, if we end up hiring somebody before the, don't forget, Teresa's here to the end of March.
Okay,
So if we hire somebody before the end of February, that gives us a month transition.
okay.
Thank you. Next, audit appropriation. So we know this year we had to go to a different auditing company, which we did. And we went out to bid. Sue, I think, went out 3 times to bid and we got no response the first time. The second time we got 1 response, but we didn't know we had it because it came in when Sue was on vacation. Someone just put it on her desk. We didn't open it up in time and therefore it wasn't recorded as being in on time. So we went out a 3rd time and we actually called King and King, our auditors from the past 3 years, and said, why aren't you bidding on this? Why don't you want it? And we found out, and I think Carl mentioned this because his brother-in-law is in this business, that a lot of the auditors are going towards the bigger cities, the bigger paydays, and they're not messing around with small towns. So, I mean, what we pay an auditor versus what New London pays an auditor is not even close. So, but we did find this auditing company, and they've done an excellent job. They worked well with Suzanne and Melissa and Kathy at the school. When the Board of Finance approved this, when they approved it back in, I think they approved it in August 6th of 2025. Dan Smith said on the recording, and I'm sure Bob will be coming in looking for an appropriation in a few months. Well, here I come. So the appropriation is for 10,048.24. You'll see on I gave you what we budgeted for, which was 30,752.80. And on the last page, you'll see the breakdown of what we pay. So it's $67,000 is the fee. We pay $40,801.64. The school pays $26,198.96. And then is that a 2%, 3%, 5%? What's that increase? Suzanne, each of the 3 years. What is it?
3%.
3% for next year, then the year after. Okay. So right now we're locked in for 3 years. I would love to have the Board of Finance decide to, if this all goes well, to say, okay, well, just like we do with the superintendent, add a year at each one. So we don't in year two, at the end of year two, we don't find out, we only have it for one more year, and then we got to scramble. So if the Board of Finance thinks this is a good match, then just keep adding a year to the 3 years. That's what I'd like to do. See what the Board of Finance wants to do. So that's where we are. So I'm looking for a motion to approve this appropriation.
I'll make a motion to approve the appropriation for $10,048.24 for the audit increase. But with discussion. You talked about, we see the Board
Let's
of
get
Ed-
Yeah,
let's get a
I'll
second.
I'll second.
Okay.
with the Board of Ed on here, is there a portion that they have to pay extra on here if we're paying 10,048?
Yeah, and they have to
Is
pay
there-
extra
is there a
also.
portion on there, and are they on board and covered with that?
Yeah, they have a portion they have to pay also. I'm not sure what theirs was last year and what it is this year, but
Historically, they paid 39% of the total, so it was, even though there was an increase, it's still 39%.
okay. So the percentages stayed the same, correct?
Correct.
Right. So we're just worried about the town side. It's up to the Board of Ed to approve their side.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so 3-0. You'll bring that to the Board of Finance tomorrow evening.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Why, just for my education, why in the school budget are they, I don't want to use the word allow, but why are they allowed to move money from line item to line item? But we are locked in to each line item.
As a past chairman of the Board of Education, you want me to answer that?
Yeah. I'm just, and I don't necessarily have a major issue with it, but in conversations, they clearly have the ability to move money from line to line. We're locked in, so.
So state statute treats the Board of Ed budget as a separate budget, even though it's part of the town
Yeah.
overall budget. They act independently. I know when I was the chairman and at that time Kim was the business manager, she would bring in all the finances each week. We would go through the financial report. If there's any line item adjustments, we could move them in. Does not have to go to the Board of Finance because that's what state statute says.
Okay.
They treat it as a separate budget. All the Board of Education is responsible for is to come to the Board of Finance with their total budget.
Total, yeah.
They don't have to do the line by, even though they present line by line, they don't have to do that, nor do they have to come for an appropriation.
So it's state statute that. allows
Correct.
them to- okay.
Now, if they're over their budget, and let's say for some reason special ed or something puts them well over the budget, say $50,000, there's no money in their budget for that, then they have to come to the town and ask us to increase their budget. So that's when they would come for an appropriation.
Okay.
But we can't even transfer. We can transfer within the same category.
Yeah.
But we can't, at the end of the year, we can't transfer from one category to the other.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing after the audit. We've got two very small appropriations. One is because of snow removal last year, and there was another one, had to do with with my department, which was the accounting generalist, and that there was some fees in there because Sue Pike was still on the calendar when Melissa started. It wasn't much. It's under $5,000, I think. But that's what we have to do.
Okay.
Thank you. Next, tax refunds.
Make a motion to approve tax refunds to Acar Leasing LTD, care of Ryan, P.O. Box 1990, Fort Worth, Texas 76101 for $109.03, and Research and Development Solutions Incorporated, 200 Circuit Drive, North Kingston, Rhode Island 02852 for $36.89 for a total of $145.92.
I'll second.
Great. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, I'll sign that, get that to Zane tomorrow. Vacancies and appointments. We have two appointments this evening. We have to appoint our town clerk every year, which is Annette Pancaro. Her reappointment has to be done by early January, which is where we're in right now. So I would entertain a motion to reappoint our town clerk, Antoinette Pancaro.
I'll make a motion to reappoint Antoinette Pancaro to Town Clerk of North Stonington.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Oh.
Does she ever even remotely think about retiring?
She said, when I leave.
Wait, are you serious?
I'm teasing, I'm teasing you. No, yeah, welcome new first selectman. She hasn't expressed, she likes
Okay.
her job. She lives in Pawcatuck. She's very good at it. Doesn't have far to go. And no, I'm hoping we get to keep her for
Yeah.
a
Okay.
while.
And that was why she's
Actually, from
phenomenal.
what I heard, almost all town halls resign. Welcome. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, so I'll let Antoinette know tomorrow that she's been reappointed. And the second appointment, which is due by February 1st, so I said, let's do it this evening. It's actually for Teresa Pences as the agent for the elderly. So even though we know she's leaving, we have to reappoint her to get through the last 2 months of her. So I entertain a motion to reappoint Teresa Pences as the agent for the elderly. And it has to be done before February 1st, so let's do it tonight.
I'll make a motion to reappoint Teresa Pences as the agent for the elderly.
A second.
Great. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Perfect. Thank you. There's one more to go, but I'm not going to do it tonight because I don't have all the names. But at the next meeting, we have to reappoint the board of, assuming the Hewitt Farm committee members. But there's some new people on that
Oh,
board.
good.
So I think there's a total of 6 now. So I'll bring those with me to the next meeting.
Okay.
Public comments. Brian, you got anything? Do we answer all your questions? Huh?
I kind of said what I had.
Okay. Anybody else have any comment? No? All righty. Did you hear what you wanted to hear about the senior services, social services? Did you, is that what you?
Yeah, I heard everything. I was just intrigued by the new job opportunity.
Are you connected with social services somewhere else?
I work at the neighborhood center and I run the transportation program.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Great. Do you work with Teresa at all through
I have met her, yeah, because we do drop off food there.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, I work primarily at the neighborhood center for the last 5 years.
All right. Well, as we get started, anytime you want to bring any input on to us, we actually are just starting this. It's new to all three of us. So that's why I'm looking for advice from, I said I met Leanne. I've talked to Susan Sadusky there. I've talked to Griswold. We have some past directors in town from other towns. So yeah, we'll take any information. If you like to give it to us sometime, we'll accept it. So thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, next Board of Selectmen meeting is the 20th of January. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.